It's news time. Information is power. Be current. The news headline: Nigeria will spend small money to elect Tinubu because he has touched so many lives for years. Igbokwe. Engineer Joe Igbokwe, a special advisor to to the Lagos State government on drainage and water resources, was on his Facebook account this evening to talk about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the impact he has made in people's lives so far. In his post, Joe Igbokwe said that Nigerians will spend small money to elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He said that Tinubu has been paying thousands across Nigerians for many years now, including Joe Igbokwe. Joe Igbokwe then said that this is a payback period for those Tinubu has touched their lives. Igbokwe said that Tinubu does not need stress in his life anymore because he has paid great men and women for many years and they will fight for him. There is no doubt that Tinubu has built and supported a lot of people through his own career in politics, but I don't think they owe him their votes. Voting for someone is a personal choice. They shouldn't have to vote for him because they owe him. They should vote for him because they believe he can turn Nigeria around for good. If they feel otherwise, they have the choice to vote for someone else. And these were the words of Joe Igbokwe, the commissioner in charge of the special assistant in charge of water and resources in Lagos State.
In his office, he made it clear that the president would be held accountable both domestically and also internationally. Falana, citing a recent piece in The Guardian, he added, BPP kicks against the award of ICTN contracts to the medical firm, said Buhari was already being indicted by a federal government agency while still in power and enjoying immunity from prosecution. According to the Guardian investigation, the PPP described the suspected award of the international cargo trafficking notes contract to a healthcare provider as embarrassing and illegal. According to the article, BPP claimed that the contract was awarded in violation of the Public Procurement Act of 2007. Falana also mentioned many court rulings against Buhari administration obtained by the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project and Anti-Corruption Organization. Right now, Buhari is being called upon to account, let alone when he leaves office, he remarked. These orders will be carried out. Between now and 2023 and later, more accountability lawsuits are likely to be filed. The special prosecutor of the International Criminal Court is likely to launch investigations into top officials of the federal government in light of the avalanche of petitions claiming extrajudicial killings by the security agents. There is no manual for the formation of nations. Wars, accidents, imperialism, necessity, agreement, arbitrations, and consensus have all given birth to countries. Our nation was born from imperialism and became a British colony after the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. But we shook off the shackles of colonialism and emerged as an independent nation. The whole world still understanding that Nigeria would be a great nation and would wipe away the tears of all black people of the world by building a great democracy and a republic where justice and honor, peace and progress will be showcased. The reasons for the failure to attain greatness are that we have poor leaders and poor followers who have not been able to make nation building their number one priority. Our leaders have continued to wallow in ethnic racism and corruption. Ironically, it was based on Pan-African unity and nationalism, and our founding fathers got independence. But soon after independence, we have systematically destroyed every fabric of nation building through corruption and ethnic racism. The last 6 years have been the very worst in throwing up Nigeria's fault lines. The parties have failed to give leadership and they lack ideological commitment, purpose, or clarity. The weak institutions of states have been unable to defend democracy, and the Nigerian people have yet not resolved on national greatness. When we decide, nobody can stop us, the professor says. The professor also noted that the Nigerian elite must come together and overcome their apathy and decide to make Nigeria great through comprehensive restructuring of the federation, saying that we need more efficient and leaner federal, civil and public service, and that we need the states to be stronger and the federal government to divest itself of its overwhelming control at the center. saying that we must resolve to tackle tribalism with greater intensity that we have fought corruption, saying that the last thing we need to do in addressing our nation's calamity is to recruit into politics and public sphere people with sound character who see wrong as wrong and who are courageous to stand up to forces that seek to destroy Nigeria. Asking about insecurity, saying that we started with Boko Haram and now ISWAP, saying that the United Arab Emirates recently named some Nigerians sponsoring the insurgent group, saying that Nigerians were excited, thinking that those who have contributed to the plunging this country into the crisis that has got millions of dollars and the carnage that followed will be prosecuted. However, the presidency said charging them is not a priority, and the professor was asked about his view on this particular statement, responding that the view is that the government has been living in denial and that Nigeria is first starting from a civil war that religious extremists and ethnic bigotry are foisted over us. The government has invented semantics of deception, which is helping terrorists by packaging them as bandits and even worse, non-state actors. I was walking on eggshells to call the foreign Fulani terrorists arsonists, rapists and land grabbers through genocide as non-state actors. Kidnapping has been packaged as a foreign flourishing business as well. Perhaps this government is slowly manufacturing our consent and clandestining origin of our surrender to a Taliban-type insurrection, and the facts are too glaring to say otherwise, saying that the government knows the sponsor of these asymmetric wars and they know how to block their funding and know far more than they wish the public to know. We lift our eyes to God in the knowledge that every terrorist era has an expiry date, and may God Almighty hasten such expiry. And this was the response of the professor, talking about how the government has claimed, to be weak to address the situation of the terrorism in the nation. The movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra, MASOB, has celebrated the release of 19 of their members who have been detained since 2006. The celebration coincided with 10 years anniversary of the death of Igbo leader Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, Eze Igbo Gburugburu. In a statement, MASOB leader Uchenna Madu described Dim Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu as the greatest Igbo man that has ever lived. The statement reads in part: Dim Chukwuemeka still remains the greatest Nigerian man that ever lived. He laid an unforgettable foundation for enhancement and restoration of true Africanism and total liberation of black man from Western domination. Ojukwu was the president of Biafra and the general of the People's Army. He stood for justice, total freedom, and equity for us all. We are celebrating a living legend, a symbol of Igboism, the lion that is fear conquers the enemy of his people. Today, we have gathered to reflect, refresh, and revive the consciousness of Ojukwuism in Igbo land.